In a small village nestled between the rolling hills and a vast, mysterious jungle, lived a young boy named Malik. The village was quaint, with simple thatched roof cottages and fields of golden crops that swayed gently in the wind. But despite its beauty, life in the village was not easy. The land had become dry, the crops were failing, and the once clear river that ran through the village had begun to dry up. The villagers were growing desperate. Malik was a boy of about 12 years old with bright eyes that held a spark of determination. Though he was young, he was known throughout the village for his hard work and his kind heart. He lived with his grandmother, who had raised him after his parents passed away when he was just a baby. She often told him stories about the jungle and the legendary Lion King who ruled over it. "The Lion King is the guardian of the jungle," she would say, her voice filled with reverence. "He is wise and powerful, and it is said that he can bring rain to dry lands and make the earth fertile again. But he only reveals himself to those who are truly brave and have a pure heart." Malik would listen to these stories with wide eyes, wondering if the Lion King could be real. He dreamed of meeting the Lion King one day, but he knew that the jungle was a dangerous place. No one from the village had ever ventured into its depths in return. As the drought worsened, the villagers grew more anxious. They tried everything they could to save their crops, but nothing worked. The village elder called a meeting and declared that they would need to leave their homes and search for new land if the rains did not come soon.
Malik could not bear the thought of abandoning the only home he had ever known. He decided that he would find the Lion King and ask for his help. It was a bold and dangerous idea, but Malik's heart was filled with determination. He knew that he had to try, for the sake of his village and his grandmother.
Early one morning before the first light of dawn, Malik set out on his journey. He packed a small bag with some food, a flask of water, and a warm blanket, and he quietly slipped out of his home. The village was still asleep as he made his way to the edge of the jungle. The jungle loomed before him, dark and silent. Malik hesitated for a moment, fear gripping his heart. But then he thought of his grandmother, of the village, and of the stories of the Lion King. He took a deep breath and stepped into the jungle. The air inside the jungle was cool and damp, filled with the earthy scent of moss and leaves. The trees were tall and thick, their branches forming a canopy that blocked out most of the sunlight. As Malik walked deeper into the jungle, the sounds of the village faded away, replaced by the rustling of leaves and the distant calls of birds and animals. The path was difficult, and Malik soon found himself pushing through thick undergrowth and climbing over fallen logs. But he did not stop. He knew that the jungle was vast, and he had no idea where to find the Lion King, but he trusted that his heart would guide him. As the hours passed, Malik grew tired and hungry. He stopped to rest by a small stream, taking a sip of water from his flask and eating a piece of bread. He was about to continue on his way when he heard a rustling sound nearby. He turned, his heart racing, and saw a pair of glowing eyes staring at him from the shadows. A large, sleek panther emerged from the undergrowth, its eyes fixed on Malik. The boy froze in fear, but he remembered his grandmother's words. "The jungle is full of dangers, but you must not show fear." Gathering all his courage, Malik slowly stood up and faced the panther. To his surprise, the panther did not attack. Instead, it slowly approached him, its movements graceful and silent. Malik held his ground, his heart pounding in his chest. The panther circled him once, then sat down and looked at him with an almost curious expression. "Why do you venture into the jungle, young one?" The voice was deep and resonant, and it took Malik a moment to realize that it was the panther who had spoken. "I am searching for the Lion King," Malik replied, his voice steady despite his fear. "My village is in trouble, and I need his help." The panther regarded him for a long moment, then nodded slowly. "You are brave to seek out the Lion King, but the journey will not be easy. Many have tried and failed. The jungle tests those who enter it." "I will not give up," Malik said firmly. "I must find him." The panther's eyes softened, and it seemed to smile. "Very well, young one. I will guide you to the Lion King, but you must prove your courage along the way. Only the bravest can earn the right to meet him." Malik nodded, his determination unwavering. The panther stood and began to walk deeper into the jungle, and Malik followed, his heart filled with hope. Led Malik through the jungle, moving swiftly and silently through the dense undergrowth. Malik struggled to keep up, but he pushed himself to continue. He knew that he could not afford to lose his guide. As they traveled, the panther spoke to Malik about the jungle and its many challenges. The jungle is a living being, the panther explained. It tests those who enter it, to see if they are worthy. You must be strong, not just in body, but in spirit. The jungle will test your courage, your kindness, and your wisdom. Malik listened carefully, knowing that these lessons were important. He was determined to prove himself worthy of meeting the Lion King. The first trial came when they reached a wide, fast-flowing river. The water was dark and turbulent, and there was no bridge or way across. Malik looked at the panther, unsure of what to do. "The river tests your courage," the panther said. "You must find a way across." Malik took a deep breath and looked around for a solution. He saw a fallen tree lying near the riverbank, and an idea came to him. With great effort, he pushed and pulled the tree until it fell across the river, creating a makeshift bridge. He watched him with approval as Malik carefully made his way across the tree bridge, his heart pounding with fear. But he kept his focus, and soon he was safely on the other side. The panther followed him, crossing the river with ease. "You have passed the first trial," the panther said, "but there are more to come." The next trial came when they reached a part of the jungle where the trees were thick and the undergrowth was dense. Malik could barely see a path forward, and the darkness was suffocating. "The darkness tests your kindness," the panther said. "You must find a way to bring light to this place." Malik thought hard, and then he remembered the stories his grandmother had told him about fire. He gathered some dry leaves and sticks, and using the flint he had brought with him, he carefully struck a spark. Soon, a small fire was burning, casting a warm glow that pushed back the darkness. The panther nodded in approval. "You have brought light to the darkness and shown kindness to the jungle. You are on the right path." Continued their journey, and soon they came to a place where the ground was rough and uneven, with sharp rocks and thorny bushes. Malik struggled to find his footing, and the thorns scratched his legs and arms. "The rough ground tests your wisdom," the panther said. "You must find a way to move forward without harm." Malik paused and thought. He realized that he needed to clear a path through the thorns and rocks. He carefully picked his way through the rough ground, using his hands to move the rocks and thorns aside. It was slow and painful work, but Malik did not give up. He knew that he had to keep going. Finally, they emerged from the rough ground, and the path ahead was clear. The panther looked at Malik with respect. "You have shown wisdom and perseverance," the panther said. "You are ready to meet the Lion King." The panther led Malik to a large clearing in the heart of the jungle. The air was filled with the scent of flowers, and the ground was covered in soft grass. In the center of the clearing stood a massive lion, his golden mane glowing in the sunlight. His eyes were bright and wise, and his presence was both powerful and calming. Malik felt a surge of awe and reverence as he approached the Lion King. He bowed deeply, his heart filled with gratitude. "Rise, young one," the Lion King said in a deep, resonant voice. "You have shown great courage, kindness, and wisdom in your journey. You have proven yourself worthy of my help." Malik stood up, his eyes shining with hope. "My village is in trouble," he said. "The land is dry, and the crops are failing. We need your help to bring rain and make the earth fertile again." The Lion King regarded Malik for a long moment, then nodded. "You have come far to seek my help, and your heart is pure. I will grant your request." With a mighty roar, the Lion King called upon the powers of the jungle,